I have a photographic/eidetic memory. AMA. I did an AMA on being an air traffic controller here and I enjoyed it, so I decided to do another AMA on my photographic memory. That's two of us, though around age 45 it started to fade. I never studied in college or took notes. I just read the text once or listened to the lecture then answered the questions. I graduated in 3 years summa cum laude. I had two telling experiences in college. One time I was late for a history class and as I came in the door the professor tried to grandstand and asked me a question about the reading assignment that day. I told him the answer and then told him not only what page it was on but which footnote it was in. I still remember, page 426, footnote 3, left side. The topic was modal music in the Greek era. Another time we had a substitute teacher in a methods class. As I never took notes I just sat there, slouched, eyes closed, listening. Near the end of class the teacher said I was clearly not interested in graduating etc. because I did not pay attention etc. So I started to give back her lecture from the beginning of class, nearly word for word. One astonished minute later she stopped me and apologized. My friends quickly learned that when I said I can't remember I was being polite. The real pisser is that while what I have learned is still in there my short-term memory has gone to hell. Aging sucks and anyone who tells you differently is lying. Yeah, my best story was for history class. First day the teacher gave everybody a book and told us to memorize as much as the preamble as we could in 5 minutes and then had us write it down. I decided to go above and beyond and wrote the entire Constitution word for word. He sat at his desk for 5 minutes just staring at my paper wondering how I was so accurate. My other favorite story was missing an entire week of chemistry and the day I came back was the test. The teacher told me I didn't have to take the test and to come in after school for help. But I had gotten the entire chapter down to memory and took the test anyways. I got every question except one right just so she didn't think I cheated. I have this too. Had it all my life. I look at something once and I remember it forever. Had the same experience with teachers as you. They taught I didn't pay attention etc. Never studied in my life. Got through my finals without opening a book. I knew everything I needed to know from class, except for some cases of illness where I read through the book once or twice. I find some social situations difficult, where someone tries to lie to me or just remembers stuff wrong. Example, that's not what I said, whilst I know exactly what they said word for word. I find that in these situations I just say I can't remember just because I don't want to embarrass them. Be a dick. Also I do remember most stuff forever, but find that for stuff that is really boring or something I do routinely I have to put in some effort of concentration. Great stories and all, very captivating, but I believe none of it. What are some of the biggest misconceptions that people have when they hear you have a photographic memory? I mean, can you literally recall every detail of everything that you've ever seen? How far back does this ability go? Can you remember the faintest details of a building you just glanced at 10 years ago, or is it something you'd need to study for a while before the memory becomes photographic? One big misconception people get is I don't remember everything forever. I have to make an effort to memorize something but it is much easier than most people and when I do get something I only remember it in vivid detail for a few weeks. For example, back in high school I took German and before every vocabulary test I would get out my sheet and memorize the list. At the end of every semester before the final I would get out my book and memorize every page. What are some cool tricks you can do with it, i.e., do you ever use your memory to impress the ladies? If so, has it ever led to sexy times? Whenever I would go to libraries I would come in and leave and hour later eventually the desk lady stopped me and asked why I came in weekly and never checked out a book. I told her that I was memorizing them and she didn't believe me and so I recited the entire first page of the book I had been in for that day. Surprisingly it impressed her and we went on a few dates. It would also make remembering numbers when drunk a lot easier back in the day. What are the downsides to having a photographic memory? I also have a photographic memory and it can make social situations really awkward. Like, I remember everyone I have ever met, ever. Names, faces, personal details, conversations, pretty much everything. So, sometimes when I run into people that I knew in elementary school, or people who I only met once, it's weird when they don't realize they know me at all. I no longer make the mistake of telling them that I remember them, it just makes it more awkward. I have become overly concentrated when doing some things. What are your thoughts on different learning styles, visual, auditory, kinesthetic? I would guess that having a photographic memory would give you an immense edge in visual-based learning, but how are your auditory and kinesthetic skills? Can you memorize voices like Yelbrud? Can you physically tinker with things and recognize patterns/figure out solutions? Can you learn martial arts at an astonishing pace? You mentioned that you are an air traffic controller. This is a perfect job for you because it utilizes your short-term memory, and it is very difficult. But have you ever considered something like medical research? Do you think someone with your gift would be an asset to developing cures for diseases? Or does it not really help your analytical and critical thinking skills? Do you still do well in upper-level mathematics/physics courses, where memorization doesn't help as much, if you've ever taken them? How do you do in standardized tests like SAT/MCAT/LSAT/GRE/ etc., where they test aptitude above memorization? Lastly, what are your dreams like? If you ever develop the ability to lucid dream, you will basically be in the Matrix. One more thing, audio osmosis. If this works for you, you can seriously increase your encyclopedic knowledge. Eidetic memory covers both visual and audio. If you have a conversation with me, I will remember exactly what we said. Audio for me goes to the point I don't have to be paying attention to memorize what is being said. The only time I realize I remember it is when I think about it. The problem with martial arts is I only remember for certain amounts of time. It doesn't really help in ATC cause planes are constantly moving, so as soon as I get an image it will have changed. I don't really know what this would be good for in any other profession due to the fact that you don't remember forever. After a couple weeks I would memorize it like every other person. I have regular dreams and I am not a lucid dreamer. Thank you for watching the video. If you're new, please be sure to subscribe, like and turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload. Post your own stories in the comments down below.